What's going on? What's going on? I am Eugene Napoleon. This is Napoleon's Corner. Hope all is well. Before I get started, please make sure that you subscribe to my channel. Greatly appreciate your support. This is actually episode 206. And the topic of this discussion, this particular episode, is actually figure it out. Figure it out. There's a lot that we all have to figure out with everything going on around the world and in our personal lives. We have to there's a lot of things we need to figure out, and there's a lot of steps to it. But primarily, because there's so much going on, at the end of the day, figuring these things out brings forth for some a lot of different stresses, anxieties, other issues that they're not even really thinking about until you're hit with something that you have to figure out, right? Um, it does come with a few different things where it would make you would have to act accordingly when you're dealing with this and you're going down this process. It'll make you act accordingly because you can't have an issue going on and then it's compound with other issues where you don't have the ability to figure it out. So here's what I'm saying to you, right? Let's say you're dealing with a real stressful situation that just happened uh, uh, to come out of nowhere. And obviously, you're not thinking about it, you're not expecting it, it just hits you out of nowhere. How do you figure out where to move from there? How do you figure out how to act accordingly from there? Because it's not always easy. And we're only human. So when you are dealing in a stressful situation and you have life happening, you're getting hit hard at your job, you're getting hit hard at home, you're getting hit from a social perspective because everybody's on social media. So now everybody's a Twitter gangster, everybody's a thumb gangster, everybody's a social media gangster. So you're getting hit on that front, right? I'm gonna share this with you, which is quite interesting. I'm gonna share this with you. Sometimes you just gotta say, and you just gotta drop it where it's at. You have to drop it where it's at. I've talked about this in several other episodes. You almost have to unplug from everything, get to yourself, and get back to who you are, right? Because I was raised in a spiritual household, and because I lean on faith, I believe in God, I believe in all the things that can manifest through the goodness of grace and what God provides you with. So I try not to stress too much on things that I can't control. Now, when it comes to acting accordingly and figuring things out, obviously those are things that, yeah, we have to do in the moment, right? Because timing, and I should say, there is no right time to act accordingly when somebody's doing you wrong, right? Because you're only human. So you're going to act up in that moment when somebody's doing you wrong. I'm going to say you need to unplug because I try to do it as much as I can. And you cannot think on surface with this thing because people are foolish. And foolish people do foolish things, right? Foolish people put you in foolish situations, right? Foolish people basically bring you to your knees if you let them. So you have to act accordingly and you have to figure it out real time. Because if not, you'll mess around and make a decision based on a human emotion, right, wrong, or indifferent, and put yourself, your family in a position where if you took 2 or 3 seconds to figure it out, to act accordingly in that real time situation, you may have made a better decision. And this is just me being completely forthright. It doesn't always feel good to do the right thing. I know that sounds, it doesn't always feel good. What do I mean by that? So Somebody says something to you that's kind of out of line. And before you know it, you react. You react to that statement, you react to that situation, and you haven't figured it out right then and there. Because in real time, you just react and make a decision that is not the right decision. It's not, it's according to what's going on, it's not the right decision. And before you know it, again, you're in a position that you put yourself in based on the decision, and things happen that all of a sudden you have to apologize in a way because you put your family, yourself, and that particular individual, even though he or she didn't know, real quick they found out that they probably caught you on the wrong day, in the wrong moment, at the wrong time. And the BS that they were selling, you wasn't trying to buy in that situation. So when I say figure it out, I do mean in all sense of the statement, we're only human, but you have to figure it out in real time and you have to act accordingly. And is it always, like I said, does it always feel good? No, it does not. Because in those instances, a lot of times you have to be the bigger person. A lot of times you have to be the person to swallow a lot of nonsense that you really probably ordinarily wouldn't. But here's the trick to it, right? God's grace on our lives, his patience with us when we're not always doing the right things, we're not always saying the right things. It's his grace that allows us to continue to move forward. Only on God's and in God's grace does that happen. So 9 times out of 10, we got to remember that when we're showing somebody else grace, when we're providing that same grace upon them when something is not going right and you want to rip their head off, it's all about grace and patience. And that's part of figuring it out as well, because as we mature, that grace comes in abundance because now you're more easy to give somebody a pass when maybe 4 years ago, 3 years ago, even 2 years ago, you probably wouldn't have. And that's grace. It's also personal growth. It's also maturity. It's all those things. But my point is, that's having the ability to figure it out in real time. Because again, it's not always easy. There's some days when you may want to get up and react to somebody else's BS, and there's a humbling calmness that comes over you that says it's not even necessary. Let that person be that person. Let that person go out and spew whatever they're going to spew because you know better and you know whatever it is, it's not true. Whatever it is doesn't need you to react in that manner. It just doesn't. Then you can pray about it quietly and move on about your day in a calm and peaceful manner while that person is going and just not having such a good day because they don't have the grace or peace or faith that you have. That's figuring it out in a nutshell. And that's what I mean. Like, that's really figuring it out in real time. Not always easy, but with God's grace, he'll give you inner peace. And with inner peace, you can figure it out in real time. You can make better decisions in real time. You can give somebody, a pass in real time, and you don't have to feel so bad about it because you're not driven by ego. You're driven by God's good grace, and you're driven by God's faith in your life. And if you believe in that, no matter what happens, you can stand the test of time. If you believe in that, no matter what happens, you can walk in your truth, walk in your faith, know that God has blessed you with grace, and just continue to move accordingly. That's what this thing is all about. But you got to do it, and you got to figure it out. That's the key. With all this crap going on around and in this world, you have to figure it out with grace, patience, and God at the wheel, basically. Give God the wheel. You be a passenger. Let him drive it and have the faith to believe in everything, every direction, everything he's telling you to do. That's how you move, and you move accordingly. That's how you figure it out. I'm Eugene Napoleon. This is Napoleon's Corner. Thank you. See you next week.